Estonian Defense Minister. Now we move on to our next news. As the Beijing Summit continues, EU Chief Ursula von der Leyen has said that China's ties with Russia would be the determining factor in relations between the bloc and Beijing. EU leaders, including European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and European Council President Antonio Costa, have emphasized the significant role China plays in influencing Russia and its responsibility to push for a ceasefire in the ongoing conflict. They urged China to avoid exploring dual-use goods to Russia and to use its position in the UN Security Council to advocate for peace. Now we go back to our guest discussion with Martin Tsai-Reitz. He's a foreign affairs expert. Thank you, Martin, for staying with us. Now, China's close ties with Russia have come under intense scrutiny with EU leaders. So, how, given China's consistent refusal to condemn Russia's actions, its role in facilitating Moscow's military capabilities in Ukraine, can China truly be considered a neutral player in this conflict?
I think, in wording logistically, the Russians and I think the European Union is focusing in having partnership with countries that they feel they share the same values. So right now what we're seeing is that the European Union has a strong tie with China in an economical level, and this economical and trade level can be put in a question by the shared values that these two regions of the world share in common.
And now, while China is pressed, EU presses China, but Europe still continues to support Ukraine in selling or with the weapons. So do you think this EU is doing enough from its stance to, or do you think that EU's efforts are increasingly fragmented?
Of course, the European Commission is doing its best to support the interest of its territory by supporting Ukraine, and at the same time not losing a strong partner like China. Even though they have a trade partnership, China also poses a threat in global trade with the European Union. We need to remember that Germany used to be the leading country in car distribution, and now China is ruling that, leading that role. And I'm seeing right now in the next couple of months and years a deterioration between the relationship between China and the European Union.
Thank you, Martin, for sharing that insight. Please stay with us as we come back to you for our next discussion. Amid a relentless heat wave gripping